All right. Good morning. Good morning. It is Monday, April 7th. We've got a gap, another gap lower this morning in NASDAQ. Looks like that overnight low marked a bottom near that 16,550 and a little bit of a bounce up above that Sunday night open, which is right near 17,100. Backdrop, of course, is bearish. Bearish. We're in a high volatility environment. Structures are much wider. Spreads are wide. We've got an actual real spread here in Nasdaq, a little bit unusual. It's a byproduct of this high volatility environment. Liquidity is low, volatility is high. What I'm going to be looking at for this morning is how price responds to the 17K and 16,800 level of interest. Now that 16,800, this area is if you take a look at the weekly or daily time frame chart, zoom out past few years, you'll see that volume point of control right there near 16,800, about 5 years of volume right through that 16,800 level. So we know that's definitely going to be a significant point. And we do have some buying already during that overnight session. Now, whether or not it holds is yet to be seen. But those are going to be the levels that I'll be focused on for this morning. We don't have any economic data prints this morning to watch for, so it's just going to be the current structure. That's all we have to worry about. So NQ sitting on 17K right here. We've had a couple of bounces versus this area up into 17,200. Going to be taking it slow this morning, staying patient, making sure we have a real A plus opportunity on our hands. There's no reason to be rushing in this market. No rush whatsoever. Remember, not placing a trade is free. So if you don't have conviction or you're feeling like the structures are too wide, even with minimal sizing, even with just a couple of micros, then remember you don't have to trade. You do not have to trade. This is a much higher volatility environment. You can switch to a practice account. You can focus on ES or some other product if you like. There are options. Don't ever feel like you have to be risk on. That's the point I'm trying to make. Don't always have to be risk on. So we'll see what we end up getting here. Got about 4 minutes until the open. Now, if we do see overnight low fail to hold down near 16,460, that puts NQ pretty close to that 7% circuit breaker. So that is the line in the sand that I'm personally using to stop trading. If we see a sustained break of the overnight low, that's going to put price in pretty close proximity to that first circuit breaker. That is not an area where I personally want to be looking for any trade, simply because that circuit breaker can trigger pretty fast. And I don't want to find myself in a position through a halt. Definitely don't want that. So if we look at, we're 7%, it's going to be right near here, 259 or so, give or take a few points, right in that area. So baseline rule for me this morning is beneath overnight low, hands off. That's going to be the danger zone. Danger zone. You may find yourself stuck in a halt. Another note, some prop firms, if you trade with a prop firm, some prop firms, they have that limit much earlier. They have that limit 5% down or 5% up, depending on which firm you trade with. So if you do use a prop firm, just make sure you're aware of the limit rules. Make sure you have that awareness. Got about 2.5 minutes till the open here. Like I said, backdrop remains bearish. See what we're working with off the open. All right, a little more than 1 minute till the open. NQ getting into that VWAP area. Downside level of interest 16,800, and then the overnight volume point of control down here at 750, 16,750. So where all the volume is concentrated for the overnight session. All right, here comes the open. The regular session. See if the spread tightens up. That's one thing I'm keeping an eye on. Just eyeballing it, spread looks like it's still a few points. Massive volume this morning. See a lot of the pre-market action, that overnight action, even up above the minimum threshold there. Gap rules in effect, of course. Massive gap this morning. It's that 5 minute regular trading hours chart. It's wild that Little bounce from VWAP looks tiny. Ends up being like 80 some odd points into that 17K area. Sellers reload. Let's see how 800 is going to be treated. Let's see that 800. So opening 5 minute bar just closed. Basically a doji there. NQ coming into the lows. You got ES, new low of day. YM pressing the lows. Russell actually holding the low for now. NQ getting into 800. Now, if 800 fails, 550, and then the overnight low next up. The next area I'd be interested in personally. And then, like I said before the open, if overnight low fails, that's that hands off area for me, just based on the proximity to the circuit breaker. Do not want to be trading anywhere near that circuit breaker. Yeah, most of these levels are going to be treated as much wider zones. That's a good point, Steve. Valid point there. Down through 800. NASDAQ. So 550. Next area I'd show any interest in. Till then, just cash. Next 5-minute bar closing here in about 2 seconds. NQ back in a VWAP. Up and through 800, back in a VWAP. See how the structure builds here. There's your rejection at VWAP, right back into session lows. Session volume point of control steps a little lower there, 817. NQ into no man's land for me personally. We'll look at any reaction into 550. 550 level of interest, overnight low 460. Nice, Dom. That was a decent little short setup right there. Rejection of VWAP. About 15 minutes into the sesh, still cash for the regular session. Just staying patient, like I said. Yeah, structures are mega wide. Gotta account for it with dropped sizing or just staying cash. Choice is yours. If you're trading, say 1 to 3, 1 to 4 micros in the lower volatility environment, this is pretty much a do not trade sort of environment right here because you're so limited with your ability to drop size at that point. You'd have to go to like 1 micro. Nice, Rich. That was a solid short. Right there at VWAP aligned with the backdrop, 800 level of interest. Yeah, a lot of brokerages have up their margins. Saw some are just doing normal maintenance margin now. So 800 stays on watch here. NQ. Right back into VWAP. It's a decent bounce there. I've not seen an entry, so just chilling. Staying patient. NQ session high, not too far off. About 980, 16,980. See how that session high is going to be treated here. 980, 17K area. NASDAQ new high of day. New high of day right there. It's that 17K level of interest. $15-minute is up and through prior bar high. And we're getting into the Sunday night open. Had to try the shallow. Had to try it. Tighten up those trails here. And we're out. Quick 50 points. Start the morning for the regular sesh. Let's see what's next. 17K stays on watch. Also keeping an eye on that Sunday night open, about 17,100. Pink line on the chart is Sunday night open. New high of day. 17,200 is your upside level of interest. See if we get a real test of 200, and then your overnight high is just right above that, 278. So far, just the quick scalp for RTH. The idea there was a little micro pullback with the level of interest after buyers have already displayed strength. Just grab a little piece of that. See what sets up next here. Got about 4 minutes till 10 a.m. No data. NASDAQ 17,200 level of interest. Nice push. Get the magnitude of this move off the lows. 550 points. Here's 200 overnight high, upside reference point there at 278. Overnight high coming up. From there, it's gap fill. Oh, you have the 400 level of interest right there with prior day low. Just shy of that overnight high. Just shy of it. There you go. Little push up and through the overnight high. If you still have any longs from lower, good spot to trim. And we get into 10 a.m. here in about 5 seconds. So post 10 a.m., keeping an eye on 17,200 as well as the overnight high. Looks like NQ wants that prior day low here. Got that short covering rally. Tough to enter. NQ just shy of 400 now. About 30 minutes in. How we doing? How's everyone doing so far? What's it looking like? No trade day, cash, 2 for 3, 1 for 1, cash. Not bad. Not bad, not bad. Cash, slight green cash. Benny Benny Daily goal, of course. Oh man. Nice work. Nice work. Yeah, that was a tough one to enter, Albert. Tough one to enter for sure. So some sellers showing up here. We can bring the fib, that intraday fib, just to add some reference points. NQ back into that 200 level of interest. So that'll serve as a solid level to keep on watch here. Hourly shows a big hammer. God, it's wide. That is wide. $640. It's huge. Down beneath 200 now. It's just the shallow fib, 23% fib. 38% fib aligns with Sunday night open. 50% fib aligns with 17K level of interest. So 200 bumps into overnight high. See what the other indices are doing. You've got ES up near 5K and Russell bumping into prior day low and the overnight high. For the RTY enjoyers, current session high is 358. Don't sweat it, Dom. You can't be too sure. Can't be too sure in this environment. Take what they'll give you. I mean, these structures are just crazy wide. NQ just shy of the highs now. Grabbed another little sample there myself, just trailed it. Yeah, it looks like nothing within the context of that big rally, huh? Add another 50 or so points on the day there. Plus 100 for the regular session. I think I had plus 50 from pre-market. So we're doing all right. We are doing all right. Could have had a better entry there near 200, but I do not want to be the first one in this market. So I'll let a little structure build where I have more conviction and give up some upside. Chilling. We're chilling. All is well. So now we'll see how this structure builds up here near the overnight high. 15-minute, currently shaped like a doji, closes up in about 5 minutes. At this point now, just waiting for this structure to resolve here one way or another. All right, there's your new high of day. Nice. Very nice. Who's your 17,400? There's your last week low. Gap is about to fill here. Nice push. Nice push. No re-entry on my end. Look at that move. My goodness. Almost into 17,800. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Could be a short getting blown out. Doesn't even need to be buying. Could be a big short that just got blown out. Highest volume of the sesh right there. Nice, Ray. 400 points. Wow. Outstanding. NQ is now up 2%. I've got a pretty significant mismatch here between my Tradovate and my trading view now. So that's nice. NQ into 18K. And my Tradovate is still way behind. What a rally. What a rally. NQ is up 3%. Imagine we see an upside halt. That entry I had near 200 is looking quite nice right about now. I wish I still had it. Oh, wow, man. Yeah, I've got major discrepancies here between TradingView and Tradovate, so I'm hands off right now until I get some more clarity on what's going on with the data feeds. So NQ bumping into that 18,200 level of interest, almost into prior day high. We're going to have a big bullish engulfing on the daily chart potentially. Let's check out QQQ. There you go. It's a better visual. NQ, there's prior day high. Yeah, big volume. Big volume. Shorts trying to cover. Buyers trying to get what they think is the low. Meanwhile, my data is just total mismatch here. So can't participate even if I had a setup as of right now. NQ back into 18K. Trade of 8 still showing me 18,300. Plumbing must be clogged at the CME because that's a big difference in the data. NQ 17,800. Trade of 8 data still delayed, still behind. Check out that 15-minute bar. See if that data's back now. Nope, not quite. Yeah, so trading view shows NQ coming into 17,600. And here's what Tradeovate shows. Still at 17,800. Well, like I said, not much I can do here till we've got some realignment in the data feeds. NQ right back into that 17,400. Anyone's data feeds lined back up yet? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Top Step X and TV are synced. Yeah, well, Top Step X uses Trading View, so it should be good. I'm talking about Trading View and Trade Ovate. Looks like we're getting a little closer though. All right, I think we're back. Looks like we're back. Yeah, it looks like we're solid again. Yep. Let's just do one more refresh. Yeah, we should be good here. Talking about the Trading View and Trade Ovate data synchronization. Looks like it's back. Okay. So NQ right in the middle of that fib buy zone here, right near that 17,400 level of interest. Wild action today. Absolutely wild. So I'm looking at that reaction. Well, 400's gone, but we have a nice bounce in the works there from that fib buy zone. Good confluence of last week's low, level of interest, prior day low right through here, overnight high as well. So we know this is going to be a key area. Did not love to see that data feed issue. Makes it very hard to trust anything. As of right now, here's the morning. Looks like absolutely nothing, but we're over 100 points with a little bit lighter size. So not bad. We're green. We're green in a bearish environment, trading longs. All right, Ray, take care, man. Nicely done on that 400 pointer. I can't wait to read that one in the 30 for 30. All right, so NQ right back into that 400 area. Prior bounce did not show follow through. I mean, it was a 300 point bounce. If we look at the actual measurement of the move there, 400 point bounce. But we're right back into that overnight high, coming back into the 250 level of interest. 15 minutes showing some major exhaustion. Jump over here. So price, daily is going to be best. We did see a retest, just to keep the context in mind, of this prior daily time frame area of support. That kind of that gray zone I have on the chart right there. Retest. No real surprise to see sellers jump back in that area. Wild action today. Wild action today, man. Intraday, that's a 1,700 point move. That's a 10% move on NASDAQ. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. 10% intraday. That's insane. 10% intraday. Wow. For the index. It's not a penny stock. It's the index. Biggest weekly red bar ever last week on a points basis or percentage? Because for points with the market, making fresh highs, that's not all that surprising. But percentage, that would be more significant. That would be way more significant. Just look at it. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. NQ, almost round trip, man. Back into 200. 17,200 level of interest, right near that overnight high. Staying patient. We're on the backside of this move, so just staying patient here. I would have liked the first test at 400, right in this area. But that was right near the tail end of that the data feed issues that I was having with Tradovate. So NQ, little hold there near the 200 level of interest. Retesting 400. And this thing's moving 200 points like nothing. Absolutely nothing. Wow, I guess that I guess that tariff headline was fake news. White House is saying not real. They did the shorts dirty with that one, my goodness. All right, almost 90 minutes in. How we doing? Staying alive? Hopefully. Fantastic. Yes, barely alive and well. Green. Noah staying out of the market. Daily goal obliterated. That's good. These even the microstructures are like 100 points wide. Wild. Wild, 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 wild times. Can't size down more than one contract. Yeah, makes it tough. Probably have to look at ES or some other product or just wait for the conditions to settle a little? No, Tom, it's the lack of liquidity. Lack of liquidity. I remember them talking about a nano contract, which was going to be 1/100th of normal NQ. So NQ 200 holds up and through 400, coming back in a 600 here. Keeping an eye on that 15-minute. Let's take a look at our 5-minute. So we come back, 5-minute always gives you more clarity. We come back into that session volume point of control right at 200. Buyer step in right there. Wow, ES perfectly held VWAP. So did YM. So did Russell. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. 2-hour trader framework. Bot has taken no trades today. Bot only trades NQ. No signals today in NQ. For the bot, anyway. So this 600 is going to be treated. 17,600 NASDAQ. See if we get another setup here in the next 10 minutes. So far, ES is plus 100 points off of VWAP. All right, Dom, take care, man. Nicely done today. NQ getting back into 800, prior day volume point of control. Yeah, it's almost time to call it a morning here. We'll see the next. I want to see the 11 a.m. move, but otherwise we'll call it a morning. If there's nothing else. All right, Steve, take care, man. Retrace to the sell zone from Wednesday's high. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Wednesday's high? Oh, nice. Very nice. There we go. It's right there. 50%. Let's see 11 a.m. here. 30 seconds. NQ sitting right on 17,600. Yeah, there was some good confluence through there for sure. Definitely starting to see a bit of compression as we get into midday lull. The midday lull. So at this point, we'll keep the levels of interest in focus. You got NQ still sitting on 600 right here. How's our profile looking? So far, most of the volume still with the overnight sesh down there at 753. NASDAQ working on 800, 17,800. See if buyers can break up and through this local structure. There it is, little blip above. There we go. I'll go ahead and take profits right there. We'll take that at about what is it, 150 points on the sesh. There we go. Hope Mish got in there after talking about it. Probably not, though, based on what I see in the chat right now. All right, we'll go ahead and call it right there. Nice morning. NQ 17,600 stays on watch, 17,800 stays on watch. We've got some great action today. Structures are wide, but the market continues to trade technically. Headlines or not, the market trades technically. Gotta love it. I mean, look how well the levels of interest are respected. For all the fear mongering I saw online this weekend, this has been some pretty good action. We're 4 for 4. I think we'll wrap it up right there. I think we'll call it right there. I hope you guys had a good morning. If you have questions about anything, shoot me a DM in the Traders Think Tank. We'll keep it going this morning in the room, in the think tank, but I'm going to slow it down a bit here. Have Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you bright and early tomorrow. Take care.